Would you prefer a 14-day just sort of national shutdown to slow this down?
I would prefer as much as we possibly could. I think we should really be overly aggressive and get criticized for overreacting.
Okay. Should more Americans be prepared to be hunkering down at their house?
I think Americans should be prepared that they're going to have to hunker down significantly more than we as a country are doing.
The top infectious diseases doctor in the country, Dr. Anthony Fauci, with that warning yesterday on Meet the Press. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe. And we begin this morning where we will most likely begin for some time to come. The many fast-moving developments with the coronavirus changing public life as we know it. Here's where things stand right now. The U.S. is under a national state of emergency, and the CDC has now updated its guidance, urging against any gatherings of 50 people or more in the next 8 weeks. Stock futures are once again sliding despite emergency action from the Federal Reserve, slashing interest rates to zero. The Senate is now poised to take up a sweeping bill passed by the House that includes free testing, extended sick leave, and $1 billion in food aid. Meanwhile, several states and cities across the nation have shut down restaurants and bars to sit-in guests. California, Illinois, and New York City among them. The city of New York also announced last night that it's closing schools, nightclubs, movie theaters, and other entertainment venues. The state of New York is now considering whether to join two other states, Georgia and Louisiana, in postponing their primary elections. The governor of California has called on more than 5 million senior citizens in his state and those with underlying health conditions to isolate themselves. This as the number of confirmed cases continues to surge, now closing in on 3,500. Florida saw a huge spike this weekend, and West Virginia remains the only state without a confirmed case. And this was the result of the Trump administration's hastily arranged airport screenings for travelers from Europe. Scores of people crammed together.
That is such a nightmare.
In the types of crowds we've been told to avoid. And that brings us to Europe. The UK and Ireland were added to the president's travel ban over the weekend. Italy, Spain, and France recorded their highest death tolls for a single day. France 29, Spain 97, and Italy a staggering 368 deaths. Italy also recorded its most number of new cases in a day, 3,590. Spain and France have now joined Italy in banning people from leaving their homes for non-essential purposes.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.